Sparring rounds for Ilustrisimo. First, let's do a quick review of the equipment. Okay, groin protection, very important, because if there's a mistake, you don't want to get hit in the groin. Second, good hand protection. And the reason I'm saying good hand protection is you might be using a soft stick and you say, I don't need hand protection. Sometimes you get in class and you can punch knuckle to knuckle accidentally, and that is very painful, especially if you're doing knife sparring, but sometimes with the sticks or training swords as well. So good hand protection. Then you can do all of the rounds with a soft stick so that you have a greater level of protection. And we're going to talk about not cheating it in a little bit, because we always want to treat this like a sword, meaning you cannot get touched at all. That's your goal, is to not get touched at all. So that, because with an actual sword, this is a training sword, but just a little, that's it, and you're done. So we don't want to get in the habit of trading. So we can use soft stick. If you want to go up a little bit higher yet, you can use a composite sword that is a training sword, but it's composite. So you make some contact here, but it's not as heavy as an aluminum sword, for example. You can also put on elbow protection, forearm protection if you like. I would suggest that when you're going with the swords. And then you can also go, not required, but if you want to, there will be some people that want to do this, you can go with an aluminum training sword. Just know when you do that, you're going to bang up your sword. It's going to get a lot of dents in it and such, but you'll get to feel more the feeling of that the metal coming in. You'll hear the sound of the metal, and you also see how metal on metal, because of the weight, better deflects the incoming strike. Then, of course, headgear. And I would suggest if you could get a good fencing helmet that stays on your head, because that's sometimes the issue with fencing helmets. You need a good securing device, because you can do thrusts, and Ilustrisimo has a lot of thrusts in there. We have the cage that is sort of open, square cage. What happens is it can go through. So I would suggest using that fencing helmet. So that's the equipment. Let's go on to the different types of rounds and what you have to be very aware of when you're doing the isolated training. Hand sparring. The idea is that you want to get so good at moving your hand and having good hand defense that it's very difficult for your opponent to hit your hand. If you can get really good at defending your hand, then all you really have to worry about is high shots or low shots. You know, somebody can come into the middle, but you can move and hit pretty well, pretty easily. But that hand sparring is essential for really bringing up that level. Now here's the thing. So the hand sparring means I'm going to try to hit my partner's hand. My partner is going to try to hit my hand. Inward, backhand, upward, circle, whatever you want to do to try to hit the hand. Ideally, when our opponent goes to hit our hand, he comes in, you want to try to move using that Tatang esqualado, that square motion of the arm and the stick, that 90 degree, so that you move your arm out of the way of your hand while you get to hit your opponent. Same thing if he goes on the backhand side, moving away, getting your arm out of the line of that incoming stick, which we're treating like a sword. Okay, so that's pretty simple. What happens though, here's the danger when we're doing hand-only sparring, and right now I don't have the helmet or the protection on just so I can demonstrate. Even though you're only going for the hand, put the helmet on, because one wild blow might get you, and I was cut under the eye many decades ago doing hand-only sparring, and my partner went whoom and swung and hit me under the arm and cut me open, gave me a good cut. So put the helmets on. Now, here's the danger when you're doing hand-only sparring. We start going, hey, the game is to hit his hand and don't let him hit my hand. Well, that's, in a way it is, but really we are thinking of the whole body. The whole time I'm doing this, I'm assuming he's going to hit me in the head, the body, the leg, wherever. But right now the target's only the hand. Why is that so important? Because how can I make it very difficult for my partner to hit my hand? I go like this. I put my hand way back here. I go here, can you hit my hand? I start doing this, but actually he would just hit me in the head. He'd go boom and hit me in the head. And it just doesn't help when we do the full sparring if you kind of cheat the game on the hand sparring. And it's a natural thing to do because you're like, wow, he was trying to hit my hand, I'm trying to hit his hand, so I'm going to go like this, right? And do these sort of things, but that's not what we want. We want to always be aware of everything, regardless of what's coming in. So part of hand sparring, although the target is only the hand, if, for example, I get overzealous and I start doing this, my partner's just going to touch me in the head there, and we should have helmets on. It's just going to touch me in the head to remind me, oh, your head's forward. Because once we go to hand and head or full sparring, and the idea is to be able to do full sparring very well, I do not want this habit of going in here. Now, if you're really good, you can bait the heads right in and come back and use that as an engaño. But when we're doing hand-only sparring, I want to really see that good posture. I want to see in here, right? So yeah, I'm out of range of that head shot all the time, and then we're playing at the hand. So key thing, treat it like you're doing full sparring, but the hand is the only target. If your partner starts presenting their head and hiding their hand, just reach out, touch them in the head and say, oh, your head's exposed. And then if someone does that to you, what you should do is go, oh, thank you very much. Because we're helping each other. Every time my partner hits me, makes me better. If my partner shows me my head's exposed, just made me better. So have fun, play the game. Watch Tatang as he's just having a ball when he's doing his sparring and laughing. And that's the attitude we want to bring to it. Hand and head sparring. So now, have the hand as a target and we have the head as a target, which means when you step in to hit the head, he might step in and hit you as well, or not even step in. If I'm close enough to hit him in the head, a lot of times he's going to be close enough to hit me in the head. So even with good measure, right, if he hits low here or something, I might be able to get away and hit. But notice that same thing. If he goes here, right, if he brings that up, he can hit me in the head, unless my arms are much, much longer. So you just have to be aware of the measure all the time. And that's why we're doing this. Again, the idea, no trading. I don't go, oh, I hit him before he hit me, which means I killed him before he killed me, like a half second. That's not the idea. Tatang had lots of sword fights, and guess what? He did not take any abuse, right? So that's from measure and really making sure you treat it like a sword. So from here, I hit to the hand. My partner is hitting to the hand, however. If I have the opportunity, I will hit to the head. My partner will come in and hit to the head. So I have to make sure when he hits to my head, I'm moving out of range, or what? Or I'm blocking and coming in, whatever we need to do. And again, if you choose, it is not required whatsoever for any of the tests, but if you choose to do the aluminum swords, which is more dangerous, more likelihood of getting injured, because that hit on the forearm is really, it can do some damage. So please be gentle with that if you decide to do it. Just make sure you understand with the sword, you'll get a better deflection when you're going in to block than you will with the soft sticks. The soft stick will just go whipping through. So hand and head. If my partner, again, comes in too close to hit my hand, I go up like this and I hit him on the head, great. If I am moving back he goes to hit me in the head, but maybe he fakes and he's actually going for my hand, I have to be aware of it, which is why it's good to bring the hand back, or ideally, if I'm reach-riding, to go ahead and try to do a counter strike. So hand and head sparring, only the head, only the hand. You will see your posture is very important. And if you did your hand sparring well, your hand will be moving and being difficult to hit, but then you work on the head. So just one more time, the idea being when he's hitting the head, either you're evading, hopefully when you're evading, you're hitting at the same time, or as he hits the head, you go by and then you hit afterwards using your reach and measure. And then we're also looking to block at times, especially if he steps in deep and I step in deep, then we're working to block. So working those together, hand and head sparring. Hand and leg sparring. So that means we're only hitting to the hand, only hitting to the leg. Simple, right? You do not want to get hit in the leg with a sword, because that's the end. But you just have to realize anytime you're going down to hit to the leg, often your head is open. Even if I squat down and hit, he can hit me. And if he does a lutong where he comes back, and he can reach and get that hit in there. So, but we put this in because if you're doing full sparring, you might get into this mode like, you know, I do not want to hit at the leg because it just puts me in danger. I have a good chance of getting hit in the head by someone who is skillful. So guess what? We never get any practice defending against the leg shots. So that's why we do the hand and leg. So we do get a lot of work in there. And this is where you're going to have to kind of take some chances, and you'll feel a little bit of your measure, and you'll get a better understanding of the attacking and the defending by doing the hand and leg only sparring. Now, when we're doing this, although it's only hand and leg, much like when we're just doing hand only, when he comes to my leg, if I feel it, I'm going to go ahead and just tap him, not hit him, just tap him on the head. He has to trust me that I'm not going to just crush him because he's trying a leg shot, which is helping me work on my defense. So if somebody's going toward your leg, you can counter and touch to the head. Okay, we're not going to initiate at the head. He's not going to initiate at my head right now. It's only to the hand, right, or to the leg, or coming down to the leg. Okay. If you notice, Tatang rarely hit to the leg because, unless he was in very, very close. But even then, very rarely, because there's just, your defense is all down here and your head's exposed. Okay? But we'll do these rounds so we get good at the defense of the leg. So, hand and leg only. Full all target sparring. That means when we're out here, I can hit at the hand, I can hit at the head, I can hit at the leg, my partner can do the same, I can thrust the body, you can hit anywhere you like. If you get in very close, you can puño, but that's again where you want to make sure you have good equipment so you're not hurting each other. Because sparring, again, is not, you're not hurting each other. You are playing the game. You're getting a lot of time in there against a fully resisting partner, and we're trying to make it as safe as possible. That's why I suggest you use the soft sticks primarily. Nobody has to use the swords at all to do this, as long as you're treating it like a sword. Okay? But you'll get a lot of sparring time in. And because we have the helmets, we get to do that full sparring all the time. Okay? So just making sure on here, all targets, now you're working your engaños more. Because if I just go to his head here and he's blocking, now I go up and I work that engaño. Right? I work the engaño here to come down to the hand, etc. You know, Tatang didn't really fake to the leg to come up, because if he goes and just fakes at my leg, I can still come and hit there. So just being aware of that. So full sparring, if you want to go for the leg, you can. You just feel it's kind of putting yourself in peril. So most of it's going to be a lot of hand and head, unless you are sparring, you kind of fake at the head or at the leg just to open some things up. So full sparring, that's what we want to be really, really good at. And again, the key is no trading. And just to be clear, trading is where he hits me and I hit him at the same time, just so I can get a hit in. Well, as Guru Dan and Osanto would say about the blade, the knife, it's a trade in knife fighting is no trade at all. Okay? Because you just got hurt really bad. So enjoy your sparring. Have fun with it. Do we have fun sparring? Yes. A lot of fun. It's a blast. And keep that playful attitude so you can do it a lot and your partners will have fun too. And just really sharpen that sense of measure by never getting into trading. So if you haven't already, download the training logs that has the sparring and training the drill, those logs. Each round is 2 minutes. So when you do your sparring, go in there, set the timer for 2 minutes, do your round, check it off that you did that round. So, and then just go through until you have all the rounds finished. Please avoid doing this, going, hey, it's a 2-minute round. That means if we spar for an hour straight, that's 30 rounds. Try not to do that, because part of the idea is the seasoning. Do 4 or 5, whatever rounds, and then wait till the next training session. It will sink in a little bit over time. So try not to rush through it, enjoy the process, and get those sparring rounds in. You can also do those training rounds as well. Let me know if you have any question. Enjoy your training.